So in this video, I want to take a few minutes to share with you 3 pros and 3 cons for investing in pre-foreclosures. Now, a pre-foreclosure is simply a property that's in foreclosure leading up to the time that it's going to be auctioned, okay? So when a bank places a borrower in default because they ain't paying their mortgage, and then the bank sends the certified letter to the borrower. The bank gets a foreclosure trustee involved. The foreclosure trustee begins the legal process. They set an auction date. Throughout this time, this property, this borrower, this homeowner is technically or officially in pre-foreclosure because it's pre-foreclosure. It's leading up to the actual foreclosure, okay? So they still own the home. The bank doesn't own the home until after the foreclosure unless someone buys the home at the auction. But for this period of pre-foreclosure, this is when the bank is attempting to get paid, or they're going to foreclose on the home and then take possession of the home or sell it to someone else at the auction. So I want to share with you 3 pros and 3 cons of buying or investing in pre-foreclosures. Now, before I get into that, here's what I want to say to you. If you love working with people, if you love helping people, if you have a heart to really serve your community and the people who are part of your community, and if you love real estate investing and want to make a lot of money, investing in pre-foreclosures is definitely something you need to consider because you get the best of both worlds. Now, of course, a lot of people, they would assume that real estate investors like myself are just targeting people who are in foreclosure, trying to take advantage of the less fortunate and of the vulnerable, which is not even true by any stretch of the imagination because, number one, we didn't put them in foreclosure. It's nothing we've done. We're just trying to help them prevent going through this entire process and being left out on the streets or at the side of the curve of their home when they're being evicted. So I don't like how a lot of people try to twist the narrative, which is one of the reasons why I want to have more conversations about this, because I truly believe, especially now, the way the economy is, the way the market is, the way the industry is, I truly believe we need more good-hearted people of integrity in this particular space or niche doing good for the people who need them the most. My wife and I, we've been in real estate for over 20 years. We've been pastors and ministers for over 20 years. And I can't even tell you the number of people we have helped and served and counseled and prayed through in situations like this, pre-foreclosure. And we've done it for years, even before we were actively participating in any type of investments in this niche. But it made it more important for us to get into it once we decided to become full-fledged investors ourselves. For years, we just worked with investors. We were the consultants working for them. My wife is a real estate agent. I was a handyman. We managed properties for investors and landlords, and we've done a lot for a lot of people. And of course, we've made a lot of people a lot of money, and we've helped a lot of people. Back in the days, in the early 2000s, my wife and I used to have to work with them in terms of them trying to get approved for short sales. That was a big thing back in the early 2000s, or to try to get the property market ready so that they could sell it, even if they had to bring a little bit to the table, so that they wouldn't find themselves in foreclosure or bankruptcy. And so all I'm saying to you is this: if you really love to help people, if you love to serve people, and if you love real estate investing and you're looking for maybe a niche to get into that you can do the both and feel very fulfilled, rewarded while making an impact and making a lot of money in the process, investing in pre-foreclosures is definitely the way. Again, if you need some information on that, feel free to reach out to me and my team. We do it full time. We're teaching and educating and coaching and mentoring people on how to do it because I think we need a coalition, an army of people who have hearts for God and for God's people to help them in these distress situations. Now, with that being said, it was a long introduction, but I had to make my piece, okay? Let me give you the 3 pros and 3 cons of investing in pre-foreclosures. The first one is the low barrier of entry. So low barrier of entry. Why do I say it's a low barrier of entry? Well, because if you are a creative real estate investor like me, you don't necessarily have to go to a bank and get a loan. You don't have to get your credit pulled. You don't have to show W-2s and bank statements and take half your arm off to get qualified to purchase a property. You're able to negotiate the terms with the homeowner, especially because they're on the verge of losing their home anyway. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a pre-foreclosure. It could be any type of deal when you're looking at it from a creative perspective. But with this particular area of distress, you're definitely able to negotiate terms to make sure that they can make some money to move on to the next chapter of their life. And it's still a low barrier of entry because you're not dealing with a lot of the costs associated to a traditional or conventional loan. So what are one of the cons? Well, even though it's a low barrier of entry, it's a high level of risk. Why is it a high level of risk? Well, number one, because if you are purchasing these types of properties from distressed owners and you are being creative with strategies like subject to or some form of owner financing, the risk is there's still a bank involved. The bank could call the loan due. It could be a lot of things going on legally that you don't know about. It could be liens. It could be a lot of issues with the property. It could be more than one family member involved whose name's on the deed. So there are a lot of risk involved with it. So that's why I say it's a low barrier of entry, but it's a high level of risk. The second pro is most likely you're dealing with a motivated seller. Well, guess what? If someone is in pre-foreclosure, if someone, in many cases, depending on where in the process you reach out to them, especially if it's like the back end where they're about 3 or 4 weeks away from the auction, they're motivated not by choice. They're motivated by force. Their situation and circumstance has motivated them to have to do something. And there are a lot of people in this situation who they cannot file bankruptcy. They may have already been discharged or dismissed from a bankruptcy. They may not have income. They may not be able to get a loan modification. They just don't have options. So they are motivated. That's one of the pros. One of the cons is the level of distress. It's a very distressed situation. And I'm telling you, I've seen it all. There are a lot of situations that make this motivated seller even more distressed because, again, they're motivated not because they're excited about selling their home. They're motivated because their situations and circumstances have become so distressed that they're forced to have to do something. This is one of the reasons why you gotta love people. You have to have a heart for people. You cannot be a person who just wants to manipulate and get over on people and take advantage of people. There are people out here that do that, okay? Individuals, companies, and institutions. And I think this is one of the reasons why we need a coalition. We need an army of people who have the right hearts and integrity and motives to help people in these types of situations. And the third pro is there's less competition. Now, why do I say less competition? The reason why I say it's less competition because I know a lot of real estate investors, and over 20 years of being in this industry, I know a lot of real estate investors who just don't want the risk. They would rather find the right properties, go get a loan, do it the conventional way, play it safe, be conservative with their numbers, maybe pick up one house every year or every couple years so that in 10 years they have a nice small portfolio that a property manager is managing. My wife and I, we were property managers, so we know investors who think like that and who operate like that. A lot of investors don't want to deal with the distress because you're dealing with divorces, you're dealing with family feuds, you could be dealing with probate issues, you could be dealing with liens and water bills and all type of stuff you're dealing with. Sometimes these properties are tore up, the families are tore up, the individuals are tore up. It's a mess. So again, you have to have this empathetic, compassionate heart to want to help people while making money doing it. So there's less competition, but guess what? It's more unpredictable. And the reason why I say it's more unpredictable, because the truth is you don't know what you're going to get into. You have no idea the stuff that we have walked into not knowing. I mean, you could talk to people in this situation over the phone. Everything checks out to be great. You look at the data, you do your underwriting, the numbers, the information you pull up. Everything seems A-okay. And then you get there physically and you like, wait a minute. Let me put this back in reverse. Rewind, hit the reset button. The house is leaning to one side. Half the roof is missing. I mean, you're like, what happened? There's, police tape around the house. You have no idea of the unpredictability of this space. But this is not just to scare you off. This is just to share with you 3 of the pros and 3 of the cons for investing in pre-foreclosures. And again, if you're interested in real estate investing, while wanting to make money and help a lot of people, this could be a very powerful way to do it. This could be a niche that you might find a sweet spot in. And it's not the only niche. There are many, many niches in the real estate investment world, but this is definitely one that I'm looking forward to seeing many more people who have hearts to serve and who want to make money move into, so that we can be a blessing to our community and to make sure that people are transitioning to the next chapter of their lives in as much peace as they possibly can. So be sure to hit the like button, the share button, leave a comment, tell me where you are, what you think about this type of real estate investing. Subscribe to my YouTube page. Look in the description. We have regular workshops. We have an online mentorship program and a training program to teach you a lot of the ins and outs of creative real estate investing, particularly in the area of pre-foreclosures, because I truly believe this is a part of my wife and I's ministry. And I truly believe that there are many other individuals who want to get into this area, this niche, and who have a heart or a calling. They feel like there's a mission that God has given them to do something special. And I think this could be a gold mine for you and for the people who you're serving. Because trust me, people outside look in and they think, oh, people are just being taken advantage of. They have no idea the stories that these people will tell, the testimonies that they will give, just showing their appreciation for real estate investors like us who are actually taking the time to help them get to the next level of their lives. So I'll see you on the other side.